You close your eyes at night, and the world disappears. No shapes, no edges, just black. Your ancestors felt the same helplessness the moment the fire went out. But a few feet away, in the same darkness, a snake is watching you breathe. It isn't using its eyes, not the way you'd think. Somewhere in a pond nearby, a frog is doing something your brain would call impossible. It's catching a single moving speck of an insect in near total darkness, with light so faint that your own eyes would register nothing but a flat gray nothing. How is that possible? What are they seeing that you can't? Start with the frog. A frog's eye looks simple. Two bulging orbs, mostly for spotting danger and dinner. But inside that eye is something extraordinary. A retina built almost entirely out of rod cells. Rods are the photoreceptors responsible for vision in low light. Humans have them too, but a frog's rods are tuned to a level of sensitivity that borders on absurd. In the 1970s and 80s, Stanford neuroscientist Dennis Baylor ran a series of experiments on toad and frog photoreceptors that changed how scientists understood vision itself. He found that a single rod cell in an amphibian eye can detect a single photon, one particle of light, not a beam, not a flicker. One photon, and the cell fires a measurable electrical signal. Think about how small that is. On a moonless night, the number of photons bouncing off a moving insect is almost nothing. Your eyes would call that darkness. A frog's eyes call it dinner. This sensitivity comes at a cost, though. Rod-dominant vision is nearly colorblind and very slow to process fast motion. That's why a frog often reacts to movement in strange, delayed bursts. It isn't seeing a smooth world. It's seeing a series of light-triggered snapshots, each one a photon-by-photon reconstruction of a shape moving through the dark. Now picture the frog from the snake's side. A snake gliding through leaf litter at night has a very different problem. It isn't trying to see the faint shimmer of light. It's hunting something that gives off almost none. But some snakes, pit vipers, pythons, and boas don't rely on light at all for this part of the hunt. They use heat. Between the snake's eye and its nostril sits a small pit, lined with an incredibly thin membrane. That membrane isn't decorative. It's a heat sensor so precise, it can detect a temperature change of a fraction of a degree from several feet away. For decades, scientists knew the pit organ existed but didn't know how. At a molecular level, it actually sensed heat. That changed in 2010, when researchers Elena Gracheva and David Julius, working out of the University of California, San Francisco, identified the exact protein responsible. It's called TRPA1, an ion channel normally associated with detecting irritants like wasabi and mustard oil in other animals. In snakes, evolution repurposed it into an infrared detector, tuned to respond to warmth instead of chemical irritation. Once that channel activates, the pit organ sends signals to the snake's brain, and they land in the same region that processes visual information from its actual eyes. That means the snake isn't experiencing heat and sight as two separate senses. It's fusing them into a single image, a visual outline made partly of light and partly of warmth. A frog sitting still in total darkness still glows thermally against the cooler background of mud and water. The snake doesn't need light to find it. It needs a body temperature. This is where the frog and the snake become locked in an evolutionary arms race that has nothing to do with your kind of vision at all. The frog's photon counting rods evolved to catch the faintest scraps of light for hunting insects and detecting predators approaching from a distance. The snake's heat-sensing pits evolved to strip away the need for light entirely, hunting through a channel the frog can't perceive or defend against. neither animal is seeing the dark the way you imagine it. They're each solving darkness differently, using two completely different physical properties of the universe: photons and thermal radiation. There's a strange twist here, though. A frog's photon counting system and a snake's thermal imaging system share one underlying idea: amplification. Biologist Frank Reich, who worked alongside Baylor studying single-photon detection in rod cells, showed that the frog's visual system isn't just detecting one photon. It's massively amplifying the signal from that single event through a biochemical cascade, turning one tiny particle of light into a nerve impulse, big enough for the brain to register as something moved. The snake's pit organ does something structurally similar with heat. A molecular trigger, small on its own, cascades into a strong enough neural signal to build a usable image. Two unrelated animals, separated by hundreds of millions of years of evolution, independently arrived at the same underlying strategy. Take an almost imperceptible signal from the environment and amplify it until it becomes information the brain can act on. You do something like this too, just far less dramatically. In low light, your pupils dilate and your own rod cells slowly take over from your color-sensing cones, a process called dark adaptation. It takes your eyes 20 to 30 minutes to fully adjust to darkness. A frog's eyes are already living there. A snake doesn't need to adjust at all, because it was never trying to see light in the first place. So the next time you're standing outside at night, uneasy in the dark, remember what's actually happening around you. Somewhere near your feet, a frog might be perceiving individual photons your brain would never register as light at all. And somewhere close by, a snake could be watching the warmth radiating off your own skin, reading your body like a lit-up shape against a colder world. The darkness you experience isn't a universal truth. It's a limitation of your particular set of rods and cones, calibrated by evolution for daylight hunting on open ground. Other animals simply built different tools for the same problem, and in doing so, they revealed that dark was never really dark at all. It was only dark to you. You close your eyes at night, and the world disappears. But all around you, it never really did.
Do drop a like and comment if you learned something new. Subscribe for more such interesting videos.